factored for us? Already factored for us. So what are my critical values? Remember what the critical values are?
Critical values are 0 and 1.
0 and 1. So these are the numbers that make the numerator and the denominator equal to 0. So which one of these is my root? 0, 0. And my vertical asymptote is x equals 1.
Yeah.
So what other type of asymptote do I have?
AJ.
A horizontal asymptote. Why is that? So when the degree of the numerator and the denominator are the same, then you have a horizontal asymptote. And how do we find it? We take the leading coefficients of the numerator and the denominator and divide them. So we would have 3 divided by 1, so that's 3. So it's y equals 3 is my horizontal asymptote. And my y-intercept, I need to plug 0 in for x to find that, and I get 0. So I have 0, 0, and there are no holes. So let's plot, I have a root at 0, 0, plot that point, and my asymptotes, what are my asymptotes? X equals 1, and y equals 3. Okay, let's make our chart. So we have our zeros, our critical value points of 0 and 1. And we have, what are my factors? 3x, x minus 1, and then I write f of x. Alright, so how would I fill this in? To make this 0, we need to put a 0 in here, so everything to the left of 0 is negative. To the right is positive. And the second one, our magic number is 1. So everything to the left is negative, and to the right is positive. So let's add these up. 2 negatives is a positive. There's 1 up here, it's a negative, and positive. So from negative infinity to 0, we are positive. It's going to look like this. And from 0 to 1 is negative. Do something like this. And from 1 to infinity, it's positive. So where would I draw my line? It would be over here somewhere, up here, above. So it's going to be above our horizontal asymptote. It's going to look like this. Any questions on those so far? Alright, let's do 29. Do I need to factor this? No, it's already factored for us. So what are my critical values?
2, 3.
2 and 3. So my root would be 2. And my vertical asymptote is x equals 3. Okay, what other type of asymptote do we have? Horizontal. So what would it be? I take the number in front of the x. Negative 1 over 1 is negative 1. So this is y equals negative 1. If I plug 0 in to find my y-intercept, what do you get?
0, negative 2 over 3.
Yes, 0, negative 2/3. And are there any holes? No. So let's plot what we know so far. We have a root at x equals 2. And asymptotes at x equals 3. And y equals negative 1. And make our exclusion chart. So our critical values were at 2 and 3. And my factors were 2 minus x minus 3, and then we write f of x at the bottom. So my top for 2 minus x, I would make all my negatives to the left of which number? 2. And for x minus 3, I would do negatives up until 3, and then switch to positives. So this one we have a positive, negative, positive. So let's finish our graph. We have from negative infinity to 2 is positive. So it's going to look like this up until our at 2. And then from 2 to 3, it is negative. Am I missing a point? The y-intercept is right here. Oh, you know what? These are flipped. Because our leading coefficient is a negative on their top. You guys see that? So these should be the opposite. Yeah. Make a note of that, everyone. This should be a negative, positive, negative. Okay, so now let's make sense. So from 2 to 3, it's positive above the x-axis, like this. And then from 3 to infinity, it's negative, so we're down here.
Yes, Tom. What?
Okay, let's skip to 33. What do we have to do to 33? Factor the bottom. So what do I get when I factor?
X plus 2 and x minus 1.
X plus 2 and x minus 1. Can I cancel anything out? No, so we're fine. What are my critical values?
3, 1, negative 2.
3, 1, and negative 2. root would be 3. And I have 2 vertical asymptotes at x equals -2 and x equals 1. What other type of asymptote do I have? Horizontal. So, what would my horizontal asymptote be this time? Y equals 0. So when the denominator, it has a higher exponent than the numerator. Y equals 0. Sorry. Nothing for these. And what would my y-intercept be? 0, 1.5, 1.5. And there are no holes. So what should I plot on the graph? We have a root at 3. And my y-intercept is 0, 1.5. So that's right here. My asymptotes are at x equals -2 and 1. And I have a horizontal at y equals 3. Okay, let's do our chart. So make sure you put these critical values from least to greatest. So we have -2, 1, and 3. And what are my factors? I have x minus 3, x plus 2, x minus 1, and then f of x on the bottom. So what do I fill into that first row, x minus 3?
Negative, 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 plus.
Yes. The second row,
Negative,
Negative.
plus.
plus, plus. And the third row,
Negative, negative, plus.
yep. At the bottom I have 3 negatives, that's a negative, 2 is a positive, 1 is a negative, and these are positive. So let's draw our graph. We have from negative infinity to -2, it's negative. So that's in this region right here. From -2 to 1, it is positive. It's over here, and we have to make sure we touch our y-intercept. From 1, go back up. So from 1 to 3, it's negative. And then from 3 to positive infinity, it's positive. Okay, any questions on that one? Alright, let's do the next one, 35. What do I need to do to this?
because you still have an x plus, you still have
What you
there.
cancel out, you get a whole.
If you get rid of a critical value, then you have a hole, then you cancel it.
But you
So
still
when,
have
if I were to get rid of this x plus 5 completely, then we would have to figure out the hole.
But you don't get rid of it completely because you still
Right.
have
No
one.
hole, cause the critical value's still there.
Yeah.
so-
Yep. So what are my critical values?
Negative one,
I want it negative 1, negative 5, and 1. Which one of those is my root?
negative one.
Negative 1. So I have vertical asymptote at y, or x equals negative 5, and x equals 1. What other type of asymptote do I have?
HA.
Okay,
Horizontal.
horizontal.
And five is 0.
Yep, y equals 0. What is my y-intercept when I put 0 in for x?
0, comma, negative 1 over 5.
0, negative 1/5. And we said there were no holes. So let's graph what we know. We have a root at negative 1. Our y-intercept is 0, negative 1/5. And we have some asymptotes at negative 5, 1, and y equals 0. Now let's do our chart. So from least to greatest, what are my critical values?
Negative 5, negative.
Negative 5, negative 1, and 1. And which factors should I use?
X plus 5,
X plus 5,
x minus 1, and x plus 1.
x minus 1, x plus 1,
And then fx.
and f of x on their bottom. Let's fill this in. For our first line, we have
Negative plus plus plus.
our second one,
Negative, 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 plus.
and last one, we have negative,
Negative, plus.
negative, plus, plus.
Negative, plus, negative, plus.
Negative. So 3 negatives is a negative, positive, negative, positive. Alright,
I would choose whole food. Because with the influencer, they use in positives. Like all the business, not just one.
if we put 2 more negatives in, they would be,
There's 5.
you wouldn't use the simplified version of it. It wouldn't change it, because you did like 2 more negatives in there.
Why did you use that for context? I don't know. Thank you.
Alright, fill in the rest of our graph. From negative infinity to negative 5, we have a negative. We're down here. From negative 5 to negative 1, we are positive. So it's going to look like this. From negative 1 to 1, from 1 to infinity, it's positive. Any questions on this so far? Okay, go to, let's do 41.
More of this.
How do I do this one?
You have a hole this time.
The hole in this one, why is that?
Because the threes
Complete.
Yes, we cancel these out.
So your hole is at -3.
So our hole would be at -3, comma, something. We need to take this -3, so we found that because we took x plus 3, set it equal to 0, and got our x, -3. So now we need to take our -3 and plug it back in to the equation for x. So if we put a -3 in here, so we would put a -3 into x minus 3 over x minus 5 times x plus 4. So if I plug a -3 in here, I get -6 over -8 times 1. So we would have -6 over -8. What does that reduce to be? 3/4.
Really?
So 2 goes into each one evenly, and we get 3/4. So our hole is at -3, 3/4. So let's put that in our line over here.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Alright? So what critical values do I have?
3, 5, -4.
Yes, 3, 5, and -4. What are my roots?
3.
3, and my vertical asymptotes are x equals 5 and x equals -4.
Horizontal.
We have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. And when I plug 0 in for x to find my y-intercept,
3/20.
we get 3/20. So 0, 3/20. Okay, let's graph what we know. We have a root at 3. We have a y-intercept at 0, 3/20. So put a little dot over there. We don't have to be very accurate, just as long as it's close to it. Alright, what are my asymptotes?
Asymptotes are right there.
We have one at x equals 5. And -4.
Something on that. On the graphs of the test, are they gonna be large enough to like fit everything on? Like these were hard to fit everything on. Yeah, 'cause you're off like the chart, some of it.
We have to extend what we
Yeah.
put on there. I can look for bigger ones. I'll look for bigger charts.
You're talking about the graph, the
Yeah.
x and y axis?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, bigger stuff. See, bigger stuff.
Alright, and what else do I have to put in here?
The whole.
The whole. We found it our charts.
Yeah, but you know,
So my critical values are -4,
3, 5.
3, and 5.
Mr. Hammer.
My factors that I'm going to use are x minus 3, x minus 5, and x plus 4. So let's fill this in. X minus 3, so everything to the left of 3 is negative. X minus 5, everything to the left of 5 is negative. And x plus 4, everything to the left of -4 is negative. So 3 negatives, that is negative. 2 is positive, 1 is negative, and these are all positive. So from -infinity to -4, it is negative. So we'll be down here in our graph. From -4 to 3, it is positive. So that's going to be like this. It's not going to go through the hole. Like this and then like that. From 3 to 5, it is negative. So we'll go down. And from 5 to infinity, it's positive. So it's up here.
No, that's
Okay?
okay, Mr.
What other ones do you guys have problems with?
45, the graph of 45.
45?
Hey, you on 45 and 35? No.
Alright, do we need to do anything to 45 first?
Okay, Thomas.
Can we factor it? Yes. So let's factor this. What do we get? On top I have a 2x minus 1 times 2x plus 3. And this is over 2x minus 5. Did we cross anything out? Nope, so there are no holes, that's good. And what will my critical values be? We have 1/2, -3/2, and 5/2. Does everyone see how I got those critical values? So which ones of those are my roots? We have 1/2 and -3/2. My vertical asymptote is at x equals what? 5/2. And what other type of asymptote do I have? Slant. Well, how do I find my slant? what do I have to times this 2x to get the 4x squared? 2x. So this becomes 4x squared minus 10x. Subtract these cancel, and we get 14x. Bring down the -3. And 2x times what equals 14x? 7. And we don't care about the rest, right? Because we don't pay attention to the remainders. So our equation would be y equals 2x plus 7. And my y-intercept. When I plug 0 in for x, what do we get? We get -1 times 3 is -3 over -5, so that's a positive 3/5. And we said there were no holes. So let's plot this. We have roots at 1/2 and -3/2. We have a y-intercept at 0, 3/5. I have an asymptote at x equals 5/2. And y equals 2x plus 7. What does that look like? So the intercept would be at 7. And my slope is 2. So let's plot this. Go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. So that would be my second asymptote. Alright, let's do our exclusion chart. My critical values are -3/2, 1/2, and 5/2. My factors are 2x minus 1, 2x plus 3, 2x minus 5, and we write f of x on the bottom. So for the first line, we have negative up until 1/2, and then we switch to positive. The second line, we have negatives up until -3/2. The third line, we have negatives up to 5/2. And on the bottom, we have negative, positive, negative, positive. So from -infinity to -3/2, we have a negative. So where do you think I would draw this? Right here? From -3/2 to 1/2, we have a positive. That's right here. From 1/2 to 5/2, it's negative. Going down. And from 5/2 to positive infinity, gonna be all the way up here. Where these two lines cross. Gonna be all the way up there. So if you have one like this, you will definitely have a bigger graph.
Maybe our target says.
Alright, which other ones did you guys have problems on? Five left. Thirty-seven? Okay. Everyone look at 37. What do I need to do to it first? Factor? How would I factor this? Can we factor it on
Or
top?
factoring.
Hmm? No? Right? Do we cross anything out? No? So what's next?
Critical values. Zero and then plus or minus half.
0 and what was it?
Plus or minus one half. Half.
Plus or minus 1/2. So which one is my root?
Plus or minus.
I have a negative 1/2 and a positive 1/2. My vertical asymptote is at x equals 0. And what other type? Yeah,
How'd you get the plus or minus half?
because it's squared. So if we have negative 4x squared plus 1 equals 0, then when you solve this, you get negative 4x squared minus equals negative 1. Got it?
Negative number squared, so positive.
Divided by negative four.
You got the rest? Okay.
Four.
So what other type of asymptote do I have?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. And what would this line be?
Y equals negative 4.
Y equals negative 4. So we took the leading coefficient divided by the bottom leading coefficient. So negative 4 over 1 is negative 4. My y-intercept,
Don't have it. Because your thing is VA equals here 0, so
None?
you can't be at that line.
and do I have a hole?
No.
No. So what can I plot? My roots at negative 1/2, positive 1/2. There's no y-intercept. We have a vertical asymptote at x equals 0 and a horizontal at y equals negative 4. Let's do our chart. We have negative 1/2, 0, and 1/2. And which factors would I use?
X plus half, x minus half, and x squared.
negatives. And this one is to 0.
All positives.
Oh, all positives, sorry. Alright. And so we have a positive, negative, negative, positive. Alright, so from negative infinity to negative 1/2, we have positive,
Flip it. Yeah, that's what.
Because it's the leading coefficients.
negative. So this becomes a negative, positive, positive, negative. Alright. So from here we have negative, like this. Then from negative 1/2 to 0, we have positive, 0 to 1/2, or, yeah, 1/2 is positive, so it's gonna look like this.
You can't cross.
Where you just go straight up.
There's no line or